pause 8 seconds.
We have to talk about the looming contract. As you guys saw, that torpedo from The Hunt for Red October, one of my favorite movies. Big Apple Hockey trucker hats and shirts are available, everybody. The A Block is, of course, brought to you by SeatGeek. And use the promo code Big Apple Hockey for $20 off your first order. But, of course, reports Igor Shesterkin will not negotiate a new deal during the season. And the Shesterkin camp reportedly seeking $12 million. The Rangers are willing to go over the carry price $10.5 million, highest contract ever handed to a goalie. Phil, let's start with you. Where exactly do the Rangers and Igor Shesterkin go from here?
Likely it's going to go into the season. I don't think they're getting a deal done. I think this is going to be something that ends up going into free agency. And one of two things is going to happen. The Rangers are going to play chicken. These two teams are going to play chicken with each other. Their camp and Drury. And the Igor's camp is going to look for that 12 or 13 million or whatever they're looking for from whenever camp. He's not getting traded. Stop right now. Not getting traded. Team's not trading him in the middle of a playoff run. They're going to use him probably as their own rental, if you will. So they're going to hold on to him. He's gonna play out the season, and then they're going to talk contract afterwards, more than likely. For me, I don't understand how you can bring him back at this point. If you said that this is the last dance here, and this is it for this core, this is the last chance they're getting, regardless of what happens, this is it, then how are you signing a 29 to then be 30-year-old goaltender, or then soon to be 30-year-old goaltender, to a cap crippling contract that will inhibit your team or prohibit your team from doing a lot of things that you need to do during a retool? Like, why? Who exactly is going to be leaving if you sign him to that? Because you're not. Jacob Trouba's contract is not giving you the space to not only sign him but then do the other things that you're going to have to do. You still have to give Alexei Lafreniere an increase of probably anywhere from about $5.5 to $6 million. DeAndre Miller is probably going to make $5 to $6 million on his next deal. I mean, yeah, I'm with Matt on this. You just let them go and just do what you have to do with this team. If anything, history has shown us that winners in the cap era have not built from the goal in. They haven't built from the goal out. It's been center depth that has won. Having elite defensemen, numbers and minutes eating defensemen that have really done the job on the back end for them. Having a guy like a Doughty or a Pietrangelo or a Keith to really headline your defense, and then combine that with center depth, and then have capable goaltending. That's really what's won the cap era. Realistically, what's going to happen is the Rangers and Igor's camp are going to play chicken in the offseason. And if Igor's camp can't get those numbers and they want to try to bluff with the Rangers, I think Drury's okay with possibly letting him go next offseason. I mean, they want to keep him, yes, but not at the price that he wants, and I can't blame them one bit.
I'll get my thoughts out in a minute, but first I got to go to the man from the hockey news.
Well, I mean, I share a lot of the same sentiments as Phil. I mean, I'll start with first the money ask. I mean, to be the highest pay, what was it? The report earlier for what's his name? Kosher, KO, the Twitter report about
Phil Kosher. Yeah.
He wants to be the highest paid Ranger or highest paid Ranger in franchise history.
He's retweeting one of the big guys, though. I think it's LeBron.
Asking for, $11.5-12 million. And, Phil could touch on this, and I kind of piggybacked on it when I tweeted about it. Like, who is he asking for that much more money than Connor Hellebuyck, who's won 2 Vezina trophies and has been one of the top goalies in the league for the last few years?
Double down.
Shesterkin had an unbelievable year when he won the Vezina. Unbelievable, no doubt about that. But his last 2 seasons, I've referenced, his save percentage has been middling, 10th, 11th in the league. Like, a goalie, if you're gonna pay $12 million for a goalie, you better be first or second every single year. I'm sorry, but for that kind of coin, that's a lot of money, and I simply don't think he's that much better to Hellebuyck where he should earn that much more than him. I mean, even Saros, Vasilevsky makes 9.5, and I get these contracts are signed at a different time, but still, it's just too much for a goalie who only plays, 55 games? I mean, Phil touched on this too in the past. Like, paying a positional player like Leon Draisaitl the money he gets makes sense. He's in the lineup every single night. A goaltender is not. And I think for him to ask for this much money, it handcuffs the Rangers, and it puts them in a position where it's like, what do? Do we let our franchise goaltender go, or do we cave to his demands? And I think that's what Chris Drury's battling with right now. And then from the standpoint of not negotiating during the season, I mean, and I said, every situation is different. Not every player follows the same path, but how often do you see a player shelve contract, negotiation talks, and then it gets to the end of the year, and then natural curiosity kicks in? The agent will be in your ear, like, listen, you waited 8 months without signing. Why not wait another month and see what's out there? I think that's the path that's headed down if they don't agree to an extension before the season. I really do. And we'll see if Chris Drury sticks to his guns. But I just want to reiterate, like, Shesterkin's one of the best goalies in the league, if not the best. That part's true. No one's taking that away from him. But you want to win a Stanley Cup. You want to put your team in the best position possible to do so. Like, take 10.6. You're the highest paid goalie. And you're living in a great city, a big market, and you're going to be a contender year in and year out. I mean, asking for that much money, I think, for me, is just selfish, to be honest with you. And, I think the Rangers can win with I'm just going to throw out an arbitrary name here, but, I think the Rangers can win with Linus Ullmark if they replace Shesterkin within the summer, or even Aiden Hill. So I don't see the need for the Rangers to blow up their cap situation on Shesterkin if he's really going to ask for that much money.
Yeah, I usually try to side with Teddy KGB from Rounders on this, where he would say,
"Ain't that the man? He's money."
Exactly, and I would say that, but I cannot believe this contract demand. Anthony, you said it best. He wants to get paid more than Connor Hellebuyck. No, he doesn't want to get paid more than Connor Hellebuyck. He wants to get paid 1.5 times more than Connor Hellebuyck. That is ridiculous. And yeah, Connor Hellebuyck doesn't have the playoff pedigree, but he's won 2 Vezinas. The consistency of Henrik Lundqvist was the only reason why he was worth the value of the $8.5 million that was on that deal basically throughout the entire thing. And he was underpaid in his first contract. You want to say Shesterkin outperformed his contract? Fine. He wants a raise? Sure. There isn't a potential goalie in the system. But then again, let me throw this one out at you guys. Was Matt Murray a guy that you were going to be like, he'll win not only 1, but 2 Stanley Cups for you? No. And he came out of nowhere.
Jordan
Binnington's another one. They were a bottom feeder.
Darcy Kemper's not sub 900 save percentage in a Stanley Cup final. Bill Ranford somehow winning a Conn Smythe over Mark Messier in 1990. I mean, I could think of tons of examples of what you're getting at, Mark.
But we've seen this movie before where everybody wants to say, just pay the goalie and let's do it, because the Rangers did that in the Lundqvist era. And then they really failed to acknowledge anything in the forward position. Yeah, Rick Nash was good. Marian Gaborik had 2 good seasons and 1 terrible one for the Rangers. Like, the year he scored, was it 22 goals, and 10 of them came in 3 games. That's not a way to do it. The Hawks winning with the Emmy. The list goes on and on and on. Well, and as we've said, yeah, we've been through this. We've said it before. 6 Vezina Trophy winners, including Braden Holtby, who won the Vezina and then would later win the Cup after being benched for Grubauer. So if Igor wants to play this game of chicken, he's gonna lose. And then where he goes, well, ask John Tavares. Does he kind of wish he had a mulligan on that free agency?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
And then you look at the Islanders, the team you were on, they had success. They were a goal from the Stanley Cup Finals and potentially, and Anthony would concur on this, win the Stanley Cup because they probably would have beaten Montreal. But instead, Igor wants to do this. How does it get you close to a Stanley Cup? Alexis Lafreniere and K'Andre Miller are coming off and needing new contracts. We haven't gotten the Lafreniere thing because it's so important. You have to make a decision on this. I'm sorry. You can't be paying your goaltender double his current contract and 1.5 times more than his best friend who's across on Long Island. No, I'm sorry. You got to move on from him and trade him while you can. Goalie trades don't happen within season. I've said it before.
Well, Mark, I'm glad you brought that up because, I think we all agree he's not going to be traded. But at the same time, for the Ranger fans that don't want Drury to give in, that's one thing. But on the flip side, what will happen when he does that? He doesn't cave, and then Shesterkin walks for nothing. Those same fans are going to probably be mad that he didn't get something for him.
No, I won't. I won't.
No?
I think anybody with a rational mindset that's actually looked at this situation and has examined every little detail from top to bottom understands that they're in a damned if they do, damned if they don't situation.
Yeah.
What fan realistically expects them to trade him at the deadline? I know there may be people that want that, but do you really think, to those people out there, do you really think Chris Drury is going to wave the white flag on his last chance when you have your captain coming out and saying, this is the last dance? Do you really think they are going to do that now? Without a goaltender, without a goaltender lined up.
No.
If you told me today that they could go get Linus Ullmark and then go do that, okay, fine. But goaltending markets are so volatile. That's why you don't. When was the last big name goaltender that you saw traded mid-season? I can tell you who it is right now, but I wonder if you guys remember who it is.
I got Ryan Miller.
Bingo!
Yeah.
Bingo!
Yeah.
What was it? 2014 he was dealt mid-season.
Oh. So
you don't see these trades happen often, and it's hard. But it would be easier for someone like Igor just because of the fact that he's playing on a $5 million, $5.6 million cap hit. But who else that could sign into that deal has the cap space and would be a viable destination for him to go? Can anyone think of teams?
When you're a goalie, if you're traded mid-season, you got to learn the defense. You got to learn where your shot's coming from. All of us think, just generically speaking, we just throw them in net, just stop the puck. That's not where it is. You got to know where the play is coming. There's a lot more to just goaltending than just, I'm standing in net, let the puck hit me. There's a reason why the puck is hitting you. Now, the Rangers just can't replace Shesterkin. They're going to have to, this is going to be, they're going to go with this. Either they win the cup or they don't. That's it now.
What I want to know is how you justify giving this type of deal when this is coined as the last dance. So what this tells me is that either way, this team is looking at either rebuilding or retooling, more than likely retooling. How do you shell out an 8-year deal with an AAV of 12 million plus to a goaltender that's 29 going on 30 at that time when you're going to retool? It makes zero sense to do. You're going to waste probably the first 2 to 3 years of that deal trying to get back to where you were. And then you have maybe 2 to 3 good years before he starts declining. And then when he starts declining, that deal is immovable because it's probably coming with a full no move the entire way through. And now you have a $12 million goaltender that's either a backup or a third stringer, just like Henrik Lundqvist was at the end of his deal. And how are you moving that deal? Who's coming to save you at that point? Who? Please, someone tell me who.
I mean, if what they're saying is true, if there's no deal before the season, by the time the season starts, then they're going to shelve negotiations, then I do think he's going to test the market because let's face it, the Rangers could, their season could end in June, late May. And I go back to, if that's the case, why would he re-sign with the Rangers, 4 weeks before he could talk to the whole league and get a bidding war out there and see what he could get? It would be, and honestly, I think that's what truly, and I mentioned at the top, every situation is different and every player handles it differently. But I go back to Tavares. Shesterkin said he loves New York in his quote, and he hopes to stay. Tavares said the same thing, and I generally think that Tavares liked Long Island. But once you actually wait as long as you do, and you get to the point where you get it in your head, let me talk to some other teams and just see what's out there. Then your mind wanders, and one thing leads to the other, and then before you know it, you can leave. So I think he's absolutely going to go to market if he doesn't sign before the season starts. And then from there we'll see what happens. But
your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.